Hello and welcome to the Life Bursts podcast top 10 stand-up diva cards. We're just going to quickly go over the cards that you probably need to know before going into the stand-up diva meta and beyond, as these cards might stick around for a little while. I've got a couple honorable mentions that we'll just slide straight through, but if you want to hear anything in detail, you might want to go check out the card reviews that we've posted in the last week. You can check out the colors and see what I say about the cards in longer form. But for now, here's Demeter, Jade Angel Queen. Now, this is an angel that's going to be able to punch some damage in, which is something that angels always had struggling with. So this is a card that you might see play in angel decks. Outside of that, you're going to see play in some of the more controlling decks. Specifically, non-green decks want to play this. So you should consider this if you're struggling to punch damage into the opponent. And, you have a blue Elrig on the field. If you're a blue X-colored deck and green is your third color, consider playing this as your ability to punch some more damage through. Waffle Ice is going to be a part of the freeze package from here on out. It's not an amazing part, it's not quite as good as Royal Blue, so you'll only see this a little bit, but it's probably worth reading all of its abilities, knowing how to interact with it, aka remove it before the attack step happens, or, before they get to chance for it to trigger, and you'll be great with that. The next one is Aquil, Blessed Evil. This is a demon that searches other demons. It's not good right now. It will be good in the next set. So just give it a read over. Maybe consider picking up some if you like demons. The next one is Hydra's Natural Planet. This is a good blue card with a good blue life burst at level 1, something that blue lacked prior to this. This will be seeing quite a bit of play in the 0-3 meta as 0-4 and 0-5 come in. It will lose its place as being there will be other good blue level 1s that exist. But for now, you better get used to it. If you play blue, you might want to consider bringing it in. Ray on the Wings of Supremacy is a very good center. I think it will see more play if the meta slows down. Right now, the meta is a lot of Hirana decks, so I don't think it's going to slow down all that much. But if you are in a meta with Musica, Madoka, Nova, Tamago, those types of decks, then you might want to consider bringing Ray to one of your locals. It's good, but I don't know if it's top 10 good. We've got Miracle Draw. I think you'll see plenty of aggro decks play this. Aggro doesn't necessarily struggle with card advantage, though. If you are an aggro deck that's trying to go a little bit longer, then I think you'll start seeing more Miracle Draw. That's why it does not crack the top 10, and we have Blue Wailerin, Aquatic Phantom Queen. This is going to show up here and there in blue-white resource restriction decks from now and into the future a little bit. So this is a card to consider, a card to read, card to know what it does. Put it on your docket of things that you might play, but it's not quite good enough to break into the top 10, and we'll go straight into our top 10 now. Zeusius, Crimson Angel Queen. This is a card where you actively have a good reason to start playing angels for the first time. So you'll see angels take an uptick in this. Or if you're interested in playing angels, this might be a card that you should highly consider as a 4 of. If you weren't playing red in your angels, well, now you might want to start doing it because of this. I would definitely read this, take consideration what it does. It can change some of the plays that you make when you're up against an angel deck. You might want to prioritize putting certain things in the trash versus some other things in the trash. So this could change the way that you play against angels. It's worth a read over. It's worth knowing. Number 9 is VJ Wolf Reverb. If you guys have played Card Jockey in the last while, you'll know that the whole Card Jockey plight has been twofold. One, it didn't have access to fantastic spells, and it wanted more spells in the deck, something that we'll be curing in a little bit, I guarantee you, in this top 10. But the other one is that VJ Wolf was always expensive or awkward. It was one of those two. There was never any... Mirage was the best card that you could play prior, but it was very awkward because your field would get wiped pretty much every turn, so you wouldn't really get the chance to do removal with it. And the pump never really mattered because there wasn't quite enough Lancer-esque decks that you were trying to play against. This sort of solves that problem with a more relevant modular stuff. You'll always want to prevent a damage, and being able to vanish something for way more mana, way more enter is an option, but it's a good option to have, And because the grow cost can be broken up into several different things, you don't always need to go with the most expensive option. This will allow you to play your Love It crossfades more effectively. So this will be your wolf that you'll see across the table or on your own deck more often. The next one in number 8 is Thrilling. This is a generically good blue card. I think you'll be seeing it quite a bit in just any deck that wants to go more of a longer game and doesn't want to exceed 4 for other reasons like removal. The real trick here is that any card that lets you go for the least amount of cost for the most amount of draw or card advantage is always been historically good in pretty much every card game you can think of. And currently this is that. Trouble does it a little bit more reliably. You don't need to worry about exceed 4, but this does it for a single enter. You're going to find Musica Madoka is going to consider doing this as just a way to win the late game wars. And so if you're a deck that's looking to win a little bit more late game, then this could be an option for you. It's worth mentioning that discarding cards and drawing all of the cards, these two different modes that this card offers, both are good, and sometimes you'll go for the first mode, even though it seems less good, strictly to get things into your yard. Your next one here at number 7 is Churn Natural Plant. There has never been a Black Saddle, kind of, but there has never been quite as an easy way for pretty much any deck that runs green to get free enter charge cheaply. This is the best option to do it. There's really no muss, no fuss. You can sacrifice it immediately, so you could put a wall out afterwards. You basically could use this as a spell, and in the shorthand, you could use this just as a signy to get yourself wherever you need to go. But basically, what I'm trying to say is this is very good in the fact that it's cheap enter charge, and it's flexible enter charge, and it has no real requirements. So if you were looking to just get a little bit more enter in your deck and you run green and you need some filler cards, this is a great card to use so. And it will be good in the future as well. It's just a simple filler to get yourself a little bit more enter. Number 6 has 2 cards in it. I'm cheating a little bit. We've got Aku Faku. Fuku? Yeah, let's go with Fuku. This card is a way to basically life burst and prevent a whole attack phase of damage. And then we've got our Light, which also does the same thing. It's got Folklore's ability, except it's constant, can't attack. This one lets you draw a card. This one lets you enter charge. It's all just defensive life burst signy. Currently, that was really only existed in blue. Now white's getting some. Now green's getting some. You can mix and match, so now you could have upwards to 8, even 12 if you're that crazy to put in all of these life bursts, and you very likely can become immune to damage. So this is definitely good stuff for you to run. More aggressive decks are going to lean more towards this. The less aggressive decks might want more green and have a harder time justifying green in their deck, so this will give them that green enter they're looking for. I cheated also on number 5 here. We've got Typo Natural Planet, which is just a big defensive signy for white, or for like a single level, and it has a relevant defensive life burst. And then the other number 5 here is Ishikiri Maru, also a defensive white level 2 signy with relevant abilities, most of which is also a relevant life burst ability that's defensive in nature. With the 2 of these together, you now can basically go this, followed by this, followed by, I don't know, Arkwin. And you basically have a Walls dot deck in one single color white. So you can put this package into any deck that can run white. And you'll find that is becoming very, very good against aggro. It gives you some tools that you didn't have before. If you're an aggro player, you need to think about how do I get over these walls. If you are a not aggro player, you should be thinking, should I put these walls in my deck? The next one's Nova. I think Nova's quite strong. Arguably, some people would argue with me here and say that Ray should be in this spot and Nova should be where Ray is. It's to each their own. I think Nova's quite good. Again, I did just talk about several defensive Signies that you can play in white, and Nova is a very defensive Elrig. So I think you'll be seeing a lot of Nova taking play. Also, she's popular, so I think she's just going to be seeing more play. And she's new, so she might be seeing more play. You might have to consider that. When playing this deck, you should know it is an incredibly slow deck. So if you are worried about your time management skills or about 35 minutes at the ceremony, you should consider maybe not playing this. Number 3, we're going to have Firefly Squid. Oh, yeah, and the other thing is Nova's going to be around for at least 2 more sets, I think, and popular for at least 1 to 2 more sets, so it'll have a long presence in the meta. Talking about long presence in the meta, this one continues to have a long presence in the meta, even the Japanese meta all the way up to 9 now. Firefly Squid is probably the best blue Signy you could play if you have the ability to play it. Firefly Squid requires a white Elrig. Outside of that, you get the ability to start making your opponents discard quite a bit and drawing cards. So if you think about the fact that, what do you call it? That Random Drain is a good card. This is Random Drain on a stick, which means you can beat your opponent with your Random Drain. So consider that this card is quite good. It's going to be, there's a lot of looting effects in blue, a lot of looting effects in red, so you're always, and even some in white, so you're always going to have some ability to use this to its fullest advantage. Yeah, start playing it. You're going to find it pop up more and more and more in resource denial decks, specifically white-blue resource denial decks. They haven't stopped playing this, so you should consider it. If you are up against this, just be sad that you're about to discard some cards, and get it off the field as soon as possible, because if it can go off twice or more, then it's really gaining advantage for your opponent. Our number 2 here, I kind of wanted to put as my number 1. It's Eternal Influence, and this is the spell that I was hinting at when it comes to card jockey. Card jockey always sort of lacked a great way, really wanted just tons of removals as its spells that it was casting, and now it can have upwards to, I don't think you should run 8, but probably 5 to 6 cards of removal in the main deck now that are also spells. Eternal Influence is quite good. It's going to be better when we play decks that have Exceed, or are Dream Team, and won't have the team ability, as you can Exceed to straight vanish things in red, which is quite rare. This is such a low cost to do so. This is going to be a staple here moving forward in pretty much every aggressive deck. It'll see a little less play in this set, because there's going to be no limit that still exists. Once we start breaking into Dream Teams, you'll see this go up and up and up in usage. And speaking of Dream Teams, we have Komi, Blessed General Queen. This card is going to, unlike which I said, Eternal Influence is a tool you use in Dream Teams. Komai is a reason to be in a Dream Team. If you were playing a white Elrig, you should highly consider playing a green assist just to play Komi. It is that strong. It is a 4 of right now, and in set 9, it is still a 4 of. You should pick up these cards. They're great. They're fantastic. The requirement, again, is that you need to have Harmony Green for it really to do its stuff. Theoretically, you don't need to, but it's a lot less effective if you don't. And this gives white an entirely new option of attack. No longer do you need to rely on lane clearing. You can just start enter starving and attacking directly multiple times, and really pushing out for there to be a guard or not. Card Jockey's going to start using this. With Card Jockey, you can attack 4 times in a row with this. And it's even better when you consider map is part of their things, and so it makes guarding hard, and this damages more in the guard phase, so quite good there. It's also going to be used a lot in Nova. And then after that, set 4 is going to start introducing some stuff that you want to consider dream teaming, and you'll start doing that. And eventually it'll be played as a 4 of in Tama. So it's still a 4 of to this day. Pick it up. It's my number 1 choice of the best card in the meta, in my opinion. I think it warps so many games around it, and you really need to know all of its abilities. Really read that last ability if you're across the table. You cannot vanish it easily if it's upped, and opponents will learn, and you should learn how to use that on to your advantage to make sure that you are getting the most out of your Komai. That's our Life Burst Top 10. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope this is a super quick rundown for you guys to know what you should be expecting in the next meta, what cards you should get familiar with right now, and what you're going to be playing against and with in your future decks. As always, may you flip a Life Burst.